Good evening, and thanks for joining us at G-Prep Nightly News. I'm Kevin McGarry. Tonight's first story focuses on a Massachusetts farmer and Revolutionary War veteran who wouldn't stand for the burden placed on the new American people regarding post-war debt. Daniel Shays and many of the other American men who couldn't pay off these debts planned to seize the Springfield Arsenal, stocked with over 7,000 new muskets and over 200 tons of ammunition fit for a rebellion. Shays was shocked, however, to find that General William Shepard had been informed of the plan and had been waiting with an army of 1,200 men to stop him at the arsenal. A small battle ensued, in which 4 of Shays' men were killed and many others injured. The troops then broke ranks and retreated quickly to the woods against Shays' orders. Now we look further into the dispute with the exclusive interviews of Daniel Shays and General William Shepard.
Thanks, Kevin. Now here I am with Mr. Daniel Shay. Mr. Shay, why did you target the arsenal at Springfield?
Well, I targeted the facility to provide myself with a strategic advantage, and it would give us ammunition to continue fighting. The attack on the port of Springfield proved successful, and I wanted to expand our influence and achieve the goal that I was fighting for.
Mr. Shay, here's a letter you wrote to General Lincoln. Why did you propose a truce to him?
Well, I proposed that truce because my intention was to alarm the government and propose changes in the current system that burden the farmers and veterans in western Massachusetts. I did not want to defeat the government and shame the government's army. I was looking forward to a new constitution that would relieve the current burdens on the taxpayers and make our nation more just.
Thank you. And why did you still declare an advancement of the army when Shepard shot 2 warning cannons over your head?
Well, because as I said, a battle was all I wanted, and I was determined to carry out my goal, and especially, I did not fear death. I never anticipated, however, that General Shepard would actually commit the violent act, shooting a cannon right into my army. Although we lost the battle, I believe that I fought for justice and the freedom of the people of our nation.
Alright, thank you, Mr. Shays.
No problem, thanks for having me.
And here I have General Shepard here to offer his view on the rebellion. General Shepard, can you give me some details about your feeling when you shot a cannonball right into Shays' army?
I believe that I did the right thing on that bloody day. It was my duty to protect the Springfield Arsenal and follow orders from the governor. I fired 2 shots of cannon over their head to warn them to stop, and I even kindly warned Shays not to advance against my army, but he did not accept my offer. I fired the cannon because I had no other choice to achieve my goal during the battle. My objective was to quell the rebellion. If I could not do it peacefully, I would not find myself guilty for taking necessary military actions.
Thank you. And in your letter to the governor, you said it was an unhappy day. And can you explain something else about your view toward that battle?
I did not want to kill all Shays' men to declare that victory. I simply followed my order from Governor Bowdoin and did what I believed was right. As I wrote in my letter, had I been disposed to destroy all of the rebels, I might have charged upon their rear and flanks with my army and could have killed the greater part of the rebels within 25 minutes.
Okay, thank you very much, General Shepard. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Shays and General Shepard. Now here's our chief historical analyst, Charlie Pan, with his insights on the issue.
Alright, so we're seeing the general picture of the incident that took place on the 25th. A terrible scene for sure, but in my opinion, an inevitable conflict in the process of development of this country, and which I think will have huge impact in this country itself in both short and long terms. I mean, this whole revolution boiled down to its essence is reflecting the tension in American politics centered on democracy. What I mean by that is that it's a conflict between people with totally different democratic visions and perceptions of the revolution from the British. Here, I'll give an example. The common people, like the farmers, are thinking about democracy in a way that is completely different from, say, Madison. They don't trust centralized government because they've just been freed from what they perceived as centralized oppression by the British. They want government to stick close to their knees and bend to their will. They were the people that had real dissatisfaction against the government policy in the face of this economic crisis that caused them to lose their properties. They wanted the government of Massachusetts to print money to feed the demand for cash and lower taxes, but instead the government refused a lot of their demands and raised taxes. That's the reason the so-called rebellion occurred in the first place, Now, the people who oppose this rebellion are those who see the dangers of it. They think that these kinds of turmoil would destroy the Republic. Especially now that the rebellion's over and people begin thinking about it, more and more people seem to be concerned about having a strong government to preserve the Republic and protect it against further turmoil. So this is the point I want to make. Ironically, Daniel Shays, who rebelled against the government seeking more liberty, actually fueled people's fears toward excessive democracy and liberty for the common man, and is leading toward a more centralized government. Now, this is a secret I'm hearing, is that Madison is organizing a convention to modify the Articles of Confederation, along with George Washington himself. And these modifications will downplay state rights and strengthen a central federal government. That may be the most significant impact of this event for now, but in the long term, the entire foundation of the country would be changed. Once the federal government takes on more control, there may be a reorganization of the executive, the legislative, or judicial powers. For all I know, there could even be a new constitution being written that will define this country in the future.
Shays' rebellion indirectly inspired political change and peace in Massachusetts. In further elections, voters dismissed the aristocratic merchant party that had dominated legislature. The new legislature decreased by as much as 90% the taxes that the farmers and veterans so strongly opposed. Tonight, we got a closer look into the AP period of 1754 to 1800, most specifically the years 1786 and 1787, a time in which the new United States of America underwent many struggles over its political, social, and economic identity. Shays fought for the promise of democracy, and his character shows a strong American identity. Historical causation is shown in that the Revolutionary War led to a multitude of national debt and unruly taxes upon struggling American citizens. This caused for rebellion, which led to change. Thanks for joining us at G-Prep Nightly News. I'm Kevin McGarry. We'll see you all tomorrow night. Boom goes the dynamite.